Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jack. Back again to bring you Mythic Mistress Sassz'ine. Everything you need to know about healing this boss, and a lot of the things that I struggled with and would make my life a lot easier. Alright, getting into it, this boss fight will take a long time. It took us about 150 wipes. This is the first really big wall of Tomb of Sargeras, and in typical Tomb of Sargeras style, there's a lot of things to soak up. Alright, you will still be having the Consuming Hunger debuff from Normal and Heroic. You will still have that dot that you need to remove from Thundering Shock, and it actually will be dealing quite a bit of damage, so actually removing it is going to be quite important, especially as you're preparing to deal with the Hydra shots. You definitely want to avoid having as much damage as possible on yourself or on others before the Hydra shot comes out, because they will be dealing quite a bit of damage. The way that we organized our soaks for the Hydra shots, there's weak cores that can do it. We just stuck to a static order of people soaking the same colors every single time, and we did it with respect to keeping in mind that some people are going to be soaking, or will be using the buffer fish, and these buffer fish is the new mythic mechanic, and they are basically little puffer fish on the world markers that you're going to be seeing around the room that it spawned there, and you periodically spawn dread sharks. These dread sharks will snap up, eat up the fish and anybody who is standing in their radius, and instantly kill them. So the idea here is you need to get your buffer fish, and this is mainly for DPS. By holding onto it, they get stacking damage, so whoever's holding onto them for a very long time will be dealing crazy high amounts of damage. And if you are a healer, you will be receiving just extra mana with it. We generally, because of course we were 5 healing this, we didn't really give the buffer fish to the healers, and the area that myself and the Mystery Monk were assigned to was kind of a more narrow area where we were able to get a little bit of uptime on the puffer fish. I think for my kill, I really didn't get much value out of it at all, because soon after we picked it up, then there's the maw that comes out and starts sucking everybody in and puts a debuff on you, preventing you from picking them up. So make sure that you're avoiding the areas for the dread sharks. Range hopefully will be dropping them near the back of the room, and they shouldn't be too much of a hassle for you to be picking up. We are using the Burden of Pains, the tank mechanic, to be removing these fish buffs, so you will have a little bit of extra damage going out, because you want to have your DPS have the best uptime possible. So you can expect some Burden of Pain damage going on quite often as you're going through your wipes and stuff like that, and as you're kind of perfecting the timings there. The Crashing Wave still is going to be a major factor on this fight. The best way that we really found was to be standing near the edge of the room before the Crashing Waves went off. That way you're able to kind of prepare in advance, and hopefully you're able to just dodge the whole thing completely. When the Devouring Maw goes out, you're going to be having Hydra shots come out soon after. This is one area which I really was not a fan of playing this, because I wanted to be able to stand still, cast both my Powered Radiance charges, and then be able to get everybody topped off from the Hydra shot. And when you have to constantly fight against the Maw, it can be a very big pain. So if you're a very mobile healer, this is usually going to be more of the range job, but if you're very mobile, being able to grab the ink and bringing it into the Maw makes everybody else's life so much easier, especially your other healers' lives. So something to consider, depending on, you know, the healing requirement and how good your other range people are at actually bringing in all the ink and dropping it off in the Maw. For Holy on this fight, my rekill, I chose to play Holy for this, and I really like the mana efficiency of Binding Heal for this. Even after the changes to Binding Heal, it's still super powerful to use on fights that are reasonably long, and there is constant damage on yourself and on the raid at large. And Mistress Sassz'ine kind of fit that to the T. You know, a lot of our kills were very long. Most of them kind of spanning 7 or 8 minutes. We even had some wipes that were stretching to like 8:30 or 9 minutes, pushing in rage. So the fight will last a long time, and being able to kind of take advantage of, you know, a very mana efficient ability, where in the in-between areas, you know, kind of notice this quite a bit, especially as I'm playing Disc. I'm not really bothering using my Powered Radiance charges for anything but Hydra shots, if I can help it. And this is mainly a result of the fact that there is kind of a lot of damage going off in between the Hydra shots, but it's nowhere near as significant to be healing up. So as a result, me playing Holy, I'm able to take advantage of Binding Heal to kind of fit that in-between time, and then I'm focusing all my prayer of healings for the Hydra shots that go out. One good way to be able to prioritize your heals is make sure that you're able to keep an eye on who has bufferfish, who does not. That way you're not casting on any of the wrong people or preparing atonements on people that are, for example, not going to be taking any damage. Sometimes you have a control over it, sometimes you don't, but it's something to always kind of keep in mind to know who will actually be soaking the Hydra shots before they actually go out. The most complicated part of this fight is definitely going to be near the end. As all the mechanics are kind of building and building on top of each other, you're still going to be getting the consuming hungers that you're not going to be able to remove. You're going to be having crashing waves while you're having lots of ink all over the room. The ink is dealing a little bit of damage, but the biggest issue that you're going to be having with it is that the slows are really, really substantial. The slicing tornadoes are still going to be happening. Getting hit by one of these tornadoes is very, very likely to kill you unless you have focused healing on you. And we've had many, many times where with the new changes to the fight where if you're soaking 2 of the Hydra shots at once, you're getting stunned for almost 30 seconds, I believe. I've had many times where I'm able to kind of take advantage of grip to be able to grip people past the tornadoes so that they're not getting any of the debuffs. But of course, they're still sitting there stunned for another 20 seconds or so. So it's something to, you know, Priest definitely can help other people with that. But you really want to try to not get hit by them in the first place. The radius to stand in the Hydra shots is pretty wide. So definitely keep that in mind if any of the Hydra shots are looking really, really close together. Try to run a little bit further back to make sure that you're not overlapping over any of them. We had very, very complicated, mechanics that have happened to us all kind of at once. We've had crashing waves into Hydra shots, and then we're having tornadoes coming soon after. You even had times where we've been pressed up against the wall, trying to kill ads in time as slicing tornadoes are going off. And then we're stuck against the wall because the crashing wave happens, and we're all trying to move into position to deal with a Hydra shot. So you're going to have many, many pulls like that, where it's going to be dealing crazy amounts of damage, and you're really just kind of trying to find somewhere to stand. Positioning on this fight is really going to be the biggest deal, and making sure that, especially as a healer, and especially as you're 5 healing, that you want to be able to sustain your mana as long as you possibly can. That was one area I kind of struggled with as Disc early on, because I was just putting so much of my uptime into just dealing more damage, when I should have just been kind of pacing myself for a longer fight. And I think I did that a lot better as Holy as I got onto my second kill on the boss. So it's always something to kind of keep in mind. It really is pretty razor thin as you're killing this boss, and it definitely felt good to get it down for the first time and for the second time. Well, that's for certain. Hope you guys enjoyed these quick tips and some of my thoughts and perspective and stuff like that on the fight. I definitely enjoyed getting this down. I definitely felt relieved getting this boss down, and it absolutely felt good to be able to get that accomplished and move on to Maiden. So, hope you all enjoyed this quick rundown. Let me know if you guys have any kind of questions. If you want to see the logs of either my Disc or Holy point of view, they'll be linked in the description below, as well as all the breakdown of all my UI, all my add-ons, weak auras, and everything like that. So be sure to check that out as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I will catch you all next time.